Bedroom. Outside the window, the sky is a brilliant shade of blue, adorned with a few drifting white clouds carried by a gentle breeze. You can tell from the bright sunlight that today is one of those rare days in winter blessed with the fine weather. Since you and Luke moved into the new place, your friends have been showering you with lots of housewarming gifts, and the generosity hasn't stopped until today. So, the two of you are now unwrapping another batch of deliveries sent from your friends. They're all so kind. Look at the gift from Aaron and Kiki today. Isn't it their third gift for us? Luke unwraps the package from Aaron and puts a pair of exquisite creamy ceramics on the table.
그럴걸? 형한테 마음은 잘 알겠으니까 그만 보내라고 했는데 그러네. 매번 뭐라더라? 선물하려고 일부러 산 게 아니라 우리 집에 두면 잘 어울릴 것 같아서 겸사겸사 샀다는 거야. 이제 어떻게 거절해야 할지 모르겠어.
Neither would I. You and Luke shake your heads almost in unison. It's always a bit baffling trying to figure out how to deal with the care and enthusiasm of your friends. Then you rip open a package sent internationally. You thought it'd be a postcard or souvenir from some friend overseas, but to your surprise, there's a handwritten letter inside. Oh? You pick up the envelope to take a closer look. The sender's name is written in the bottom right corner, Xavier Carlson. The name Xavier Carlson rings a bell. He used to be a professor at Central University and was a mentor for one of Luke's projects when he was a student there. Professor Carlson was always incredibly supportive of Luke, both in his academic and personal life. Later, he left National Central University for a teaching position at Salus Institute of Technology. Look, it's a letter from Professor Carlson.
한 교수님? 같은 미림시에 계시면서 이런 식으로 연락을 주시네. 요즘도 예전처럼 편지 쓰는 걸 좋아하시나 봐.
Luke opens the envelope, unfolds the letter, and starts to read it carefully.
아, 지금 스카디에 계시나 봐. 저번에 보니까 미림 과기대랑 수도대, 스카디대가 공동으로 생물학 연구를 진행한다고 들었거든. 연구기지가 스카디에 있댔어. 교수님이 프로젝트 담당자로 뽑히셨는데 그래도 가시기 전까지 시간이 좀 있을 줄 알았거든. 근데 아니었나 봐. 연합 프로젝트 개회식이 끝나자마자 바로 스카디로 넘어가서 연구를 시작하셨대.
Well, they say a capable person is always busy. I bet Professor Carlson will be traveling back and forth between Scotty and Salis quite a bit.
그러게.
Speaking of Scotty, we were there a few years ago. It was beautiful over there. I wonder when we'll get another chance to visit.
마침 교수님이 연구계획 발표식을 잘 마무리하셨다고 우릴...
Luke freezes in the middle of his sentence, looking at the letter hesitantly, as if wondering whether he should continue reading it or not. Feeling curious, you quickly move to Luke's side and glance at the final part of the letter. I'm writing to invite you to Scotty for a catch-up session. Do you remember to bring Miss Shiraira? I'm afraid our last meeting ended in a rush and we only had the time to talk business. I deeply regret not having had the chance to express my gratitude or offer my congratulations on the good news. I still remember your university days, how you used to mumble on and on about her in your dreams during the breaks.
됐어. 그만 읽어.
Luke hurriedly puts the letter away, clearly embarrassed by the details Professor Carlson revealed about his past. Watching him trying to cover up his dirty laundry, you suddenly have the urge to tease him. Well, that's unexpected. Who would have thought that Detective Pierce totally ignored his studies in the capital and spent all the time just thinking about me instead?
아니거든. 내가 공부를 얼마나 열심히 했는데 잠꼬대는 교수님이 뭔가 잘못 들으신 거야.
Luke clears his throat and very deliberately changes the topic.
아무튼 교수님이 한번 모이자고 우리를 스카디로 초대하셨어. 저번에 우리가 수리한 정령의 오두막도 지금은 어떻게 됐을지 궁금하네.
Luke's words brings back memories. You can't help but smile as you recall how you had to fix the cottage because of the mess Peanut had made. You let the memories carry you deeper into the past, picturing how Luke hummed you to sleep. It was snowing outside, but inside the house, the flames in the fireplace bathed the room in a cozy warmth as he whispered a lullaby into your ear. You two were together back then. Your mind returns to the present moment. As you turn your gaze to Luke, you notice a glimmer of anticipation in his eyes. Well then, why don't we take a trip down memory lane? It just so happens that we haven't celebrated your birthday this year. We can catch up with Professor Coulson while revisiting the place we haven't been to in a while. It's like hitting two birds with one stone. You know what? Let's take Peanuts with us. That way he'll also have a chance to see Scotty again.
좋아. 그럼 그렇게 하자.
Alright, I have another idea.
뭔데?
Since our birthday boy has decided on the destination, how about I take the reins from here and come up with a travel plan? I promise you'll have lots of fun. Luke takes your hand and gives it a gentle shake, his eyes sparkling with joy.
거절할 이유가 없지. 그럼 즐거운 생일 주인공이 돼줘야지.
Next, you start researching different travel routes and activities on Scotty Island on your laptop. As for when to meet Professor Coulson, the two of you have decided to confirm the details with him after you're there. Where should we stay, first of all? Alright, we can ask Johan again. He arranged everything last time. Maybe we'll even get a discount this time around. And the entertainment... You find yourself turning your eyes to Luke as you try to come up with specific activities. What would he prefer? Fixing your gaze on Luke, you run through each of his hobbies in your mind. That's it, birthday boy, for our trip to Scotty this time. Why don't we take part in some classic activities we missed out on during our last visit, and maybe dive into some of the novel experiences they're offering there now? Luke smiles, nodding enthusiastically.
좋아. 말하려던 건데 먼저 말해버렸네.
That's because I know you too well. I know everything you like. With Luke's confirmation, all you need to do next is pick out a suitable few from the many activities available. A while later, after much deliberation, you finally settle on visiting the Fairy Gem exhibition, the Chocolate Factory trip, and the Sakya Fjord. I should probably leave the next few days free and flexible. Luke might come up with a place he wants to visit or an activity he's interested in at the last minute. Now that the travel plan is all set, you only need to handle some miscellaneous tasks such as booking the flights and reserving time slot for the various activities. With everything sorted, you stretch and let out a long exhale. Finally, it's done.
고생했어.
Luke's voice comes from beside you, and you suddenly realize he's sitting right next to you, his body turned towards you. It seems he's been sitting like this the entire time while you were absorbed in planning. His gaze fixed on you. Have you been watching me the whole time?
집중하는 모습이 너무 예뻐서.
Luke's response is genuine and straightforward, but you find yourself at a loss for words. In that moment of silence, you shift your gaze away, hoping to find a suitable topic to divert the conversation. Seeing the clothes scattered on the bed, you suddenly come up with an idea. Apart from the activities in Skadi, would you be interested in other novel experiences?
뭐 또 재미있는 거라도 생각났어?
Well, how about this? On our trip to Skadi, I will pick out your outfit every day and dress you up. Luke bursts into laughter before you can finish your sentence.
어렸을 때 같이 인형놀이 한 걸로도 모자라서 이젠 나한테 하려는 거야?
I wasn't thinking that seriously about it. The idea just occurred to me, so are you up for it or not?
나야 좋지. 근데 좀 걱정되네. 맨날 골라주다가 나쁜 습관이 생기면 어쩌지?
Luke walks up to you as he speaks. His breath feels hot, and there's an unusual warmth lingering at the end of his sentence. Airport. Time flies. Before you know it, it's time to set off. You double check your luggage before leaving, making sure your laptop is packed in case any urgent matters at the firm require your attention. One moment, you're still bustling around at home, and the next, you find yourself seated on an airplane waiting for takeoff. It almost feels surreal gazing at the mechanical wings outside the window. Amid the roar of the engines, the plane begins its ascent from the runway. Nervousness and anticipation fill your heart like they did once before. Bedroom. Upon your arrival in Skadi, Johan, the B&B owner, picks you and Luke up from the airport and drives the two of you to the residence he arranged. According to Johan, your residence, a newly furnished little hall facing the street, is located in the downtown area of Vikia's capital. He said that he specially reserved it for the both of you. The decorations are simple and modern, with a very Scottish style and an ample supply of smart appliances. Seems like the place is kept pretty warm. I feel hot in this weather.
창문 좀 열까? 오늘은 바람이 별로 없어서 조금만 열어두면 감기 걸릴 일은 없을 거야.
Sure, and we could check out the view of the street. You and Luke watch over the window together. As you open it, tiny snowflakes and a cool breeze sneak into the room. Outside, Vikia capital is blanketed in a thin layer of snow. Everything seems peaceful at this moment, with pedestrians strolling along the streets, unfazed by the snow and wind. The view seems both familiar and fresh, altered by the passage of time. You can't help but turn your gaze to Luke, only to find him looking at you as well. Guess what I'm thinking about right now? As soon as you finish your sentence, Luke responds without a moment of hesitation.
지금은 나랑 다시 여길 와서 너무 좋다고 생각하고 있겠지?
You share a smile with Luke before returning your gaze to the scenery outside the window. Feather-like snowflakes dance in with the wind, gently landing on your shoulders and leaving tiny white flowers there. It may be winter outside, but you're certain this trip will be filled with warmth. We're going to visit the Fairy Gem exhibition soon. I should pick out a suitable outfit for Luke.
레트로한 느낌의 우아함까지 느껴지네. 큰 자리를 위해서 특별히 준비된 옷인 것 같아.
Fairy Gem Exhibition Hall. After changing, you and Luke arrive at the Fairy Gem Exhibition for your registered time slot. As its name suggests, this is a fairy-themed exhibition of gem artifacts. Tens of thousands of gems twinkle brilliantly under the light. Looking at the vast array of artifacts, you and Luke can't help but let out a cry of awe. Wow, they're beautiful.
그러게. 실제로 안 보고서는 이렇게 예쁠 거라고 상상도 못했을 거야.
The two of you follow the other visitors deeper into the hall, your eyes captivated by one vivid and exquisite fairy statue after another. Though they're made of gems, these fairies look very much alive, as if they were actually born here. Look at this little fairy. I think it's sleeping.
얼마나 달콤한 꿈을 꾸길래 침까지 흘리면서 자네.
It must be dreaming about something tasty. As you're about to turn your gaze to another fairy statue, Luke pulls gently at your hand.
저기 좀 봐.
Huh? Looking in the direction Luke is pointing in, you see a cabinet made of gems in a glass display case not far away.
저 집, 꼭 우리가 저번에 같이 고친 집 같지 않아?
Now that you mention it, it does look a lot like it. Let's go check it out. You quickly walk over to the display case, pulling Luke along with you, and look closely at the cabinet. In comparison to the one you and Luke fixed up before, this cabin is quite similar in its overall layout, but the details are much more exquisite. From even the vase on the low table inside is decorated with clear patterns made of tiny rubies. That's incredible! The patterns on that vase look awesome, and you can't even see how they set the rubies. The technique is just exquisite. How did they do that?
저런 보석 공예법을 인비저블 세팅이라고 했던 것 같아.
안녕하세요. 제가 소개해드려도 괜찮을까요?
As you and Luke discuss the cabin's crafting technique, a staff member who's been standing next to you speaks up.
모든 관람객분께 양질의 관람 체험을 제공하기 위해서 저희 전시회에서는 의무적으로 전시 작품에 대한 해설 서비스를 제공하고 있습니다. 두 분께서도 전시된 작품에 궁금한 점이 있으시면 제가 최대한 답변해드리겠습니다.
You and Luke exchange a look and nod in unison.
네, 부탁드릴게요.
Thanks to the staff member's explanation, the two of you gain much knowledge about gem setting techniques and the collector-grade artifacts at the exhibition. Apart from that, he also recommended you to make your own artifact at the gem workshop outside the exhibition. So they did use invisible setting.
그러게. 근데 장비랑 기술이 발전해서 강도가 상대적으로 무른 보석에도 그 공정을 적용할 수 있어. 필요할 때가 있을지도 모르니까 나중에 좀 더 연구해봐야지.
Look, I thought we were here to have fun. You're making this sound like a study tour. You nudge Luke's arm with a smile, pulling him back from his thoughts.
미안해. 내가 또 딴소리를 하고 있었네. 이런 고난이도 기술을 볼 때마다 자꾸 생각이 많아지는 것 같아. 이제 어디 갈까? 밖에 있다던 보석 살롱을 가볼까?
Sounds good to me. Gem Lounge. Upon arriving at the gem workshop, the manager explains the detailed process of the experience to the two of you. It turns out that visitors can only have a hands-on experience of the setting procedure at the workshop, so even beginners can complete their artifacts in a short time. This means you only need to embed the gems after selecting a mold along with suitable gems that you like.
보석이 다 크기별로 잘려있구나. 난 내가 직접 하는 줄 알았어.
I know you're great at this kind of craft work, but you've got to give the others a chance.
하긴. 그럼 일단 모형부터 골라볼까?
Sure. After carefully comparing your options, you and Luke decide to make a sunflower ornament that symbolizes life and vibrancy. The gems required are mostly topazes and red agates, while some emeralds are also needed as an auxiliary material. Gem setting is more complicated than you imagine. It takes multiple attempts before you get the hang of it, even with the most common technique like PVC setting. Though the process isn't entirely smooth sailing, the two of you still manage to finish setting all the gems thanks to Luke's guidance. With the setting complete, the manager takes your ornament to another room for polishing, pleating, and several other final procedures. After going through all the procedures, a shiny sunflower is presented to you and Luke. That's beautiful. I can't believe we made this.
못 믿을 게 뭐야. 보석으로 만든 꽃이라니. 세상에 이것보다 예쁜 건 없을 거야.
The iridescent light reflected by the gems falls gently on the corner of Luke's eyes. He smiles gently as he looks at you, radiating warmth and exuberance like a sunflower. I grossly underestimated how much time we need to explore the city. Now that I'm back, I still need to finish my work before I can rest. Next time, I better wrap up my work before going out. That way, I'll get to enjoy myself more. Apart from the sketches of Luke and me, I should also jot down the memorable things that happened on the journey. A set of sketches in memory of our beautiful experiences. I bet Luke will love them. Even after a few years, we can still look at the sketches and reminisce about this moment. Just thinking about it feels wonderful. Sure, I got everything. I'm on my way home. You'll be having authentic Scotty fruit in a moment. Speaking of which, I just ran into Johan at the fruit market. Guess what he said? You couldn't wait to tell me, so does he have good news? Well, you could see that. Johan said there's this super popular stone carving event in Vikia capital. It's said to be perfect for couples. It happens that he became friends with the director a couple of days ago. He said he could make a reservation for us. It's a rare opportunity. Do you wanna go? Stone carving. I don't believe I've ever heard of it back home. It'd be great to give it a try. Awesome. I'll text Johan right away and ask him to set up an appointment.
네, 이렇게 입으니까 달라 보이지 않아? 캐주얼한 것보다 멋있지?
Stone Carving Studio. The two of you arrive at the stone carving studio only to find that the place is vastly different from what you imagined. Various kinds of stones are laid out in the studio, carved with numerous abstract patterns that exude a mysterious aura. This place feels magical. While fully immersed in the unique atmosphere, you notice a stylish girl coming over from the side of the room. She seems to be a college student working a part-time job here in her free time.
안녕하세요. 전 여기 직원인데 혹시 조니 선생님 친구분들이세요?
네, 조니 씨가 예약해 주셨어요.
잘 오셨어요. 지금 안에서 두 분을 기다리고 계세요. 들어가시기 전에 먼저 마음에 드는 돌을 하나씩 골라주시겠어요?
The girl answers briskly and points to the nearby wall where various stones are displayed. Different from the ones you just saw, these stones have a smooth surface without any carved patterns.
돌을 고르라고요?
네, 고르신 돌이 두 분의 영혼을 이어주는 다리가 되어줄 거예요. 그러니까 꼭 두 분 다 마음에 드는 걸로 고르셔야 해요.
You and Luke exchange a look of confusion, finding it difficult to grasp the abstract notions the girl mentioned. Connecting our souls, isn't that a bit superstitious?
일단 한번 해보자. 의외의 수확이 있을지도 모르잖아.
I guess you're right. There must be a reason why this is the latest hit in Vilka capital. After you and Luke intuitively pick out a stone, the girl leads you into the inner room. With an elegant fragrance and relaxing melody, the room is like a tranquil world detached from reality. A blond man smiles at you gently. He must be your instructor for stone carving.
어서 오세요. 전 아모스라고 해요. 석각 체험관에 오신 걸 환영합니다. 이번 체험을 통해 두 분께서 자연의 진리를 깨닫고 서로의 영혼의 소리를 들을 수 있으시길 바랍니다.
Amos' gentle and unhurried tone seems to carry a magical power of guidance and comfort in this atmosphere. You and Luke nudge to Amos, who responds with a smile.
그럼 이제 서로를 마주보고 같이 돌을 들어주세요. 그리고 최소한 2분간은 서로의 눈동자를 바라봅니다.
You and Luke follow his instructions and get into position. However, in less than 5 seconds, the two of you turn your heads aside almost at the same time to avoid each other's direct gaze. No, I can't do this. Looking into his eyes for too long makes me want to laugh.
선생님, 2분은 너무 긴 것 같아요.
괜찮습니다. 이곳에 처음 오신 분들이 모두 겪는 과정이죠. 긴장을 푸시고 눈을 맞출 땐 상대의 눈 속에 비친 자기뿐만 아니라 두 사람을 보려고 노력해보세요. 그래야만 눈을 맞추며 느끼는 모든 감정이 두 분의 손을 통해 돌에 전달될 테니까요.
Looking at myself in Luke's eyes, as well as our togetherness. What Amos said sounds even more superstitious than what the girl said about connecting your souls, but Luke softly squeezes your hand.
마음을 가라앉힌 다음에 믿음을 갖고 다시 해볼까?
Alright. You take a deep breath and lock eyes with Luke again. Amidst the soft music, your music becomes calm, cleansed of any distracting thoughts. In Luke's eyes, you first see the reality of yourself visiting the studio with him. But gradually, his eyes transform into a sea of clouds, in which you see countless moments shared by the two of you. The first time you and Luke met in childhood, the summer night you shared after growing up, all the way to today when you fall in love after finding each other again. A knock on the stone brings you back to reality. Your soul feels calm and satisfied, and there's a similar warmth in Luke's eyes. Even the stone you're holding together is starting to feel warm.
아주 잘하셨어요. 두 분 모두 서로의 눈 속에서 영혼의 답을 찾으신 것 같네요. 그럼 이제 두 분이 함께 돌 위에 조각해 보실까요? 너무 많은 생각은 하지 마시고 방금 느낀 대로만 표현하시면 됩니다.
바로 하라고요? 패턴을 잡는다거나 조각 기법을 배워야 하지 않을까요?
Amos shakes his head at Luke's questions.
그런 건 필요하지 않습니다. 두 분의 영혼이 이끌어줄 테니까요.
What Amos is saying sounds mysterious as usual, but through your experience just now, you and Luke are starting to understand the secrets of it. I understand, Master Amos. Abstract patterns gradually takes place on the otherwise smooth stone as you and Luke carve on it. There are wavy lines and many different geometrical shapes, yet the seemingly disconnected symbols appear oddly harmonious. With the last of the carving done, Luke blows off the dust that appeared on the around the stone and pulls the stone out for you to take a look.
다 됐어. 봐봐.
It's so magical. These lines, they're so abstract and disorderly. But the patterns they create feel perfect and it all somehow works together.
당연히 그래야지. 우리가 만들어낸 선들이잖아.
Hearing Luke's answer, you can't help but lock eyes with him and smile. He's right, this is a stone of souls, and the two of you have carved it together. The abstract lines that cross and merge symbolize your souls and destinies, forever intertwined.
초콜릿 장식까지 얹으면 디저트 옷이라고 불러도 되겠어.
Chocolate Factory Testing Zone. In recent years, Scuddy Chocolate has gained fame worldwide, so visiting the chocolate factory has become one of the most exciting activities here. After a tour inside the factory, you and Luke follow the crowd to the tasting zone, which is creatively decorated to resemble a train station. The factory looks like an amusement park inside, and this area resembles a train station. If it were chocolate related, I think I was visiting a film set.
그치? 나도 딱 들어올 때 그 생각이 들더라고. 그래서 잘못 들어온 건 아닌가 몇 번이나 확인했잖아. 초콜릿이 어떻게 만들어지는지 보여주는 곳이 이렇게 동심 가득할 줄 몰랐어.
Thinking of how Luke looked incredulously at his phone in front of the factory, you can't help but chuckle. Maybe the reason they designed it this way was to leave a deeper impression on the tourists. I mean, high-tech production lines aren't uncommon, but you won't find any other chocolate factory that operates like an amusement park. Apart from this one here.
그렇네. 아까 우리랑 같이 들어온 꼬마애들 생각난다. 기계팔이 풍선껌 모양인 걸 보고 자기도 나중에 크면 여기서 일하고 싶대.
And I remember there heated discussion about which production line they want to take over. Hearing Luke's words, you recall what happened during your visit a moment ago. Speaking of which, I'm dying to see what that mysterious animal department looks like on the inside. I wonder if they really have little animals helping out. It's a shame they only allow stuff inside, and there's currently no plan to open it up to the public.
정말 보고 싶은 거면 나한테 좋은 생각이 있어.
Luke winks at you, looking confident. I'm all ears.
바로 우리 땅콩이를 동물 작업실에 지원시키는 거야. 면접에 붙어서 땅콩이가 직원이 되면 우린 보호자 자격으로 그 안에 들어갈 수 있게 되는 거지.
Luke says in an earnest tone, a look of determination on his face. If he didn't burst out laughing the next second, you'd believe he was seriously considering the feasibility of that plan.
알겠어. 농담은 그만할게. 그럼 이제 초콜릿 먹으러 갈까?
Great idea. I'm feeling hungry after walking around for so long. This place is full of surprises. I'm certain their chocolate must be delicious as well. After buying the chocolate, you and Luke sit down on a bench, eager to have a taste. I'm digging in. I think I'll start with the signature sea salt almond flavor.
그럼 난 신제품이라던 화산암 숯불 메가구이 맛을 먹어볼게.
You peel open the delicately wrapped chocolate and put it in your mouth. The almond grains mix with the cocoa to produce a rich and layered flavor. As the chocolate melts in your mouth, a salty aroma caresses your palate like a seaside breeze. It's delicious.
내가 먹은 것도 맛있어. 식감도 독특하고. 얼른 먹어봐.
After exchanging chocolates with Luke, you're now experiencing a completely different flavor. That's surprising. This volcanic charcoal malt looks pretty dark, but it isn't bitter at all.
와, 역시 시그니처다워.
The two of you pop one chocolate after another into your mouth. Soon, the chocolates you bought have disappeared, except for a small box you pick out on a whim, the limited mystery box. As its name suggests, there's no way for you to tell the chocolate's flavor before tasting it, which means there's a chance of getting unusual flavors. Look, why don't you try one? I'm leaving the first big chew.
알겠어.
After careful deliberation, Luke picks out a fancy medium-sized shell-shaped chocolate, breaks it into two, and puts one half in his mouth. How is it?
되게 독특한 맛이야.
Despite Luke's efforts to keep a straight face, he still fails to hide his frown. Then he leans in close to you, trying to give you the other half.
너도 먹어보면 알 거야. 행복은 함께 누리고 어려움은 함께 겪는다는 말도 있잖아.
I was thinking we could go to a Vikia Capital Theatre performance when we're free, but the staff at the ticket office said they're sold out until next month. So I'm on my way back. I'll be there in 20 minutes. You promised me you'd get us tickets. I didn't expect to see you empty-handed. Haha, you underestimate me. I didn't get any tickets, but I did get us something. The performance is a no-go, but we can do something else. I just got this flyer when I was in line for tickets. It looks kind of fun. So, you had a plan B all along. Tell me about it. It's a seaside bonfire dinner organized by some locals. According to the flyer, they're holding this for the upcoming Scenes Festival. There will be lots of delicious local food there, and people will dance together around the bonfire. It sounds great, so why don't we go together? Of course, I'm sure it will be very special. It's a deal then. See you later.
이건 밖에서 놀 때 입기 좋을 것 같아.
Ferry Park. You and Luke drive from Vikia Capital to Ferry Park located in Ferry Sound. The park is covered with greenery without a trace of winter snow. The two of you pick out an open field for a picnic and begin to unpack the supplies you've prepared one after another. As you're busy moving things and not paying attention, Peanut flaps his wings and flies straight into the woods.
땅콩아! 너무 멀리 가면 안 돼!
Before Luke can finish his sentence, Peanut has vanished, leaving behind only the sound of his merry chirping. Just let him be. I'm sure he'll come back after a while. We were unable to bring Peanut along to any of the places we visited in the last few days. He must have gotten bored.
너무 오냐오냐 하는 거 아니야?
Luke shakes his head somewhat resignedly and proceeds to spread the red and white checkered picnic mat flat on the grass. Having grown accustomed to the white snow covering Vikia Capital, the greenery in front of you now is a nice change of scenery.
정령의 도시는 스카디에서 특수한 지리적 위치에 있어서 눈이 잘 안 온다고 들었어. 겨울에도 날씨만 좋으면 봄이 온 것처럼 생기 넘치는 풍경을 볼 수 있대. 비크캬도에서 여기까지 운전하면서 오는 동안 속으로 계속 오늘 날씨가 안 좋을까봐 걱정했는데 쓸데없는 걱정이었어. 이렇게 맑은 날을 만나다니 우리가 운이 좋네.
I was wondering why you seemed so absent-minded when you were driving. You pat Luke's shoulder with a smile and pressed down the corners of the picnic blanket. But I wouldn't call that luck.
응? 그럼 뭔데?
The good weather is a blessing from the fairies. You blink at Luke and point at the fairy decorations everywhere in the park. Luke gets it at once. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. In Skadi, people believe that the fairies are responsible for any kind of good fortune.
그렇네. 나중에 정령한테 제대로 감사 인사를 해야겠어.
After spreading the mat together, the two of you turn to the trunk to take out the picnic basket Luke prepared in advance. Once the tasty snacks are laid out, it will be time for you two to kick back and enjoy the leisurely afternoon. Freshly squeezed juice, freshly sliced fruit, desserts. Huh? Why do I feel like the food you prepared this time is exactly the same as one of our last trip to Tambiani?
둘 다 피크닉이니까 그때의 기분을 다시 한번 되새기는 것도 좋을 것 같아서. 그래도 업그레이드된 부분도 있어. 계속 꺼내봐.
You take out the food in the innermost layer under Luke's kiss. Sure enough, it's sandwiches. The sandwiches in Tambiani were stuffed with meat and vegetables, simple and sincere, just like Luke. And this time, just as you're about to take a closer look, a dark shadow swoops down and rips a corner of the sandwich in your hands. Huh? You fix your gaze on the culprit. Peanut, who's had the first bite of Luke's new and improved sandwich, is standing proudly on the corner of the picnic mat, staring at the two of you.
땅콩! 그 타이밍에 들어오면 어떡해.
Luke, while pretending to be angry, taps gently on Peanut's head as if scolding him. You can't help but smile. In a leisurely afternoon like this one, it's nice to have some merry interludes.
셔츠 위에 스웨터를 레이어드하면 춥지도 않고 움직이기도 편해.
Bonfire dinner. The bonfire dinner takes place by the beach. By the time you and Luke arrive, the moon is already hanging high in the sky and flames are burning vibrantly on the shore. Torches and wooden fences are set up around the bonfire. The fences are even connected by various colorful woven clothes, lending a primitive charm. People gather around the bonfire in groups of various sizes, chatting and laughing. Overall, this seems to be a lively event. Are we late? Judging by how things are going, it seems like the dinner has already started.
아직이니까 걱정 마. 저기 암초 옆에 봐봐. 아직도 뭐 먹는 사람들이 많지?
Following Luke's gesture, you see a row of food stalls set up neatly on the flat ground next to the reefs. Colorful lights are hung above each stall, while the hot steam rising from the stoves in front of the owners contributes to the vibrant atmosphere. The food they are selling is all local specialties you haven't seen before, tempting you to sample them for yourself.
캠프파이어 시작하기 전에 가서 먹어볼까?
Luke proposes before you can speak up. That's exactly what I was thinking. How did you know?
네가 저기만 쳐다보고 있는데 그걸 모를 수가 없지. 나도 배고프기도 하고. 빨리 가보자.
Without further ado, Luke grabs your hand and runs toward the stalls. However, when you're standing in front of the stalls, the sheer variety of snacks leaves you at a loss. They all look so tasty. I'm having trouble deciding.
정 못 고르겠으면 척척 박사는 어때?
That's one way to do it. Before you can finish your sentence, a little girl dressed in an islander outfit approaches the two of you while holding a plate of colorful food in her hands.
언니, 오빠, 우리 집 꽃밭 좀 먹어보세요.
Flower rice?
여기서만 파는 맛있는 음식인데 여행 온 사람들이 좋아해요. 그리고 꽃밥을 같이 먹으면 두 사람은 건강하고 행복하게 영원히 함께할 수 있다는 말도 있어요.
The little girl points at the innermost stall and looks at the two of you with big round eyes. You glance at the delicious local specialty in front of you, adorned with flowers and bursting with color, before turning your gaze back to Luke. Luke's expression changes ever so slightly, his smiling eyes dancing with anticipation. I've made up my mind. Why don't we have some flower rice?
좋아. 나도 그 말 하려던 참이었어.
With the two of you reaching an agreement, you bend down to whisper a few words to the girl. She gives you an earnest nod before darting back to the stall and returning with a plate of delicious treats fresh from the stove.
언니, 오빠, 빨리 먹어봐요.
You and Luke share a smile and takes a spoonful of flowers and rice from the girl's hands. Together for eternity, healthy and happy, it's time to chew on this beautiful wish. The dinner starts shortly after the two of you finish your flower rice. With more firewood added to the bonfire, the blazing flames shoot even higher. As the drum beats start together with an ancient ballad, the night and moonlight appears to transcend eternity, merging into the river of time. People begin to dance cheerfully around the bonfire, holding hands, laughing freely and passionately.
우리도 같이 하자.
Luke extends his hand to you, his face red in the bright firelight. You instinctively put your hand on his and nod with a smile. Bonfire, laughter, sea breeze, and a bright night lit by flames. This dreamy night will be cherished forever in your memories. Luke's finally calling. He must have figured out a time to visit Professor Carlson.
오래 기다렸어? 이제 막 교수님 조교분이랑 만나고 돌아가려는 참이야.
I'm in no rush, but what took you so long?
말도 마. 내가 먼저 길을 알아봐서 다행이지. 이 생물연구기지가 너무 꽁꽁 숨겨져 있더라고. 한 번 왔다 갔다 하는 데만 시간이 엄청 걸리는 거 있지?
No wonder, but I guess it's understandable. The project Professor Carlson's leading is very important. So it's necessary to keep it a secret. So, have you settled on the time for our visit?
응. 오늘은 교수님이 안 계셔서 조교분이랑 얘기했는데 모레 오전에 뵙기로 했어. 교수님이 우리 온다고 방문 허가를 미리 받아두셔서 별 문제 없을 거야.
Alright. After hearing your reply, Luke expresses his concern from the other end of the phone.
오래 기다렸는데 배고프진 않아? 아니면 가고 싶은 레스토랑 있으면 이따 거기서 바로 보는 건 어때? 먼저 도착하면 미리 주문해서 먹고 있어.
Alright, Detective Pierce, I'll look into something tasty nearby. I won't let myself starve, I promise. Luke chuckles slightly at your promise.
그럼 다행이고. 이따 봐. 이걸 입으면 산 정상이나 호숫가에서도 춥지 않을 거야.
Sakya Fjord. Chilled by the winter wind, you and Luke wrap your coats tightly around yourselves on top of the Sakya Fjord. The two of you came here for a picnic once, but the scenic area wasn't open to the public back then. This time, you finally have a chance to admire its beauty. You are met with a magnificent sight. 100 meters below, the fjord emanates an imposing charm, with the ice and snow serving as perfect adornment for the stone cliff.
사가가 여기 말로 시라는 뜻이래. 여기 풍경이 시처럼 아름다워서 그런 것 같아. 사람들은 여기서 자연과 하나가 되는 기분을 느꼈을 거야. 오늘 직접 보니까 괜히 그렇게 말하는 게 아니구나 싶은 거 있지?
Yeah, I wasn't really impressed last time we came here, but now I understand where that name came from. At this moment, Peanut, who's been hiding in Luke's hood, chips cheerfully as if responding to what the two of you are saying. In addition to Peanut's chirping, you can also hear the gurgling sound of water flowing in the fjord, carried above by the wind. You lean on the railings and look down at the boundless pool of water. I wonder how it feels to drift across the fjord, carried by the water down there. You feel curious gazing down at the water below. The fjord feels vast and distant when you look down at it from above, but what would it be like to be right in the middle of it all? While you're lost in imagination, Luke wraps his arm tightly around your shoulders and blinks at you.
그 호기심을 해결할 좋은 방법이 있어? 여기 서 있기만 해도 현만을 따라서 물길을 통과하는 기분을 느낄 수 있는 방법 말이야.
Huh?
잠깐만 있어봐. 금방 올게.
Before you can ask him further, Luke dashes off, taking Peanut with him. When he comes back, there's a dark, medium-sized box in his hand. He opens the box, takes out the drone, and begins to skillfully examine and assemble all the necessary parts and equipments. Seeing this, you now understand what Luke's brilliant idea might be. So, you're thinking of using a drone to serve as our eyes?
응? 네가 그 얘기를 하자마자 관광 안내소에서 드론을 빌릴 수 있다는 게 생각났어. 이따 화면으로 내 공연을 즐기기만 하면 돼.
Okay. Luke has finished assembling and examining the drone, which takes off at once with a humming noise. Steered by Luke, the drone flies steadily over the railings before coming to a hover in mid-air, as if preparing for a stunt. Luke, what are you?
놓치지 말고 집중해서 잘 봐.
He barely finishes his sentence before the drone changes direction and dashes down along a diagonal line. The scenes shift rapidly across the screen, starting with distant, expansive views that change every millisecond. You can't help but breathe rapidly, as if personally experiencing the fall. Wow! Your heart beats faster as the frame approaches the bottom of the fjord. But Luke, steering the drone, doesn't appear to have an intention of stopping. Luke, slow down! You're about to hit the water! Watching as the drone gets infinitely close to the water, you can't help but gasp and cry. However, the next moment, Luke pulls it back, returning it to a horizontal position. The drone slows down as it glides low along the bottom of the fjord, documenting the surrounding views. Phew, that scared the living daylights of me. Good thing you're pretty great at flying that drone.
공연을 즐기기만 하면 된다고 했잖아.
Luke frees one hand to gently pat your back as if to comfort you. Oh, it's okay, I'm fine. Let's look at what the drone's filming. You return Luke's hand to the remote controller as both of you turn your attention back to the screen displaying the real-time feed. The views at the bottom of the fjord lack the grandeur of those from above, but they possess a serene and elegant charm. This is especially true when sunlight dances upon the water, adding a touch of poetry to the scenery. You raise your head to gaze down at the fjord from the vantage point before returning your eyes to the screen, marveling at the magnificence of nature. It's the same mountain and river, but they feel entirely different. All these beautiful views, I wonder which spot really represents this place.
그야 우리가 같이 있는 곳이지.
The wind picks up again, teasing looks at your straight hair. He turns his eyes toward you, his smile gentle.
어? 이렇게 입으니까 대학생 같지 않아?
Biological Research Station Lounge. After showing you and Luke around the Biological Research Station, Xavier Carlson invites the two of you to take a break in the lounge. He says he needs to handle some work matters first, but he'll be back in a moment. Professor Carlson sure has a busy schedule. A lot of people have come looking for him since we got here. I doubt he's had a moment to himself.
3개교 연합 프로젝트이기도 하고 그 주제에 대해서 여기저기서 관심이 많으니까. 그리고 이제 연구 초기 단계라 고생이 많으실 거야.
Yeah, I guess you're right. The moment you finish your sentence, Professor Carlson pushes the door open, entering with a tablet and a paper bag in his hand.
아유, 오래 기다렸지?
아니에요. 그냥 잠깐 앉아 있었어요.
Exactly. We understand you must be quite busy with the collaborative genome research. We just hope our visit won't disrupt your work too much.
아, 무슨 그럼 섭섭한 얘기를 여기서 이렇게 만나게 돼서 얼마나 기쁜데요. 일이 이렇게 바쁘지만 않았어도 제대로 구경시켜주는 건데.
Professor Carlson pauses mid-sentence and touches his hair as if he just thought of something.
아, 나 좀 봐. 아직도 일 얘기를 하고 있네. 여기 이사 선물이야.
Professor Carlson smiles gently as he hands the paper bag to the two of you. You and Luke suddenly realize that he wasn't really handling work issues as he claimed to be. Instead, he went out of his way to fetch the gift. You turn your gaze to Luke and notice emotion stirring in his eyes.
내가 지난 몇 년 동안 연구해낸 추출물로 만든 스마트 향수야. 요즘은 다들 일 때문에 스트레스가 많잖아. 두 사람도 예외는 아닐 테고 잘 때 도움이 될 거야. 저번에 만났을 땐 제대로 축하를 못 해줬는데 드디어 기회가 생겼네. 네, 작은 성이라고 생각해줘.
정말 감사합니다, 교수님.
우리 사이에 뭘 그렇게 딱딱하게 굴어. 향수 한번 써보고 후기나 알려줘.
Professor Carlson studies you and Luke for a moment before fixing his gaze on you.
아, 그리고 특별히 준비한 선물이 하나 더 있어요.
Huh?
뭐예요? 지금 편애하시는 거예요?
저번에 날 도와준 게 고마워서 준비한 감사의 선물이랄까? 혁이 네 건 없지만 괜찮으면 같이 볼래?
당연히 괜찮죠. 전 선물 하나 때문에 교수님과의 정을 의심하진 않는다고요.
Hearing Luke's reply, Professor Carlson looks at you with a somewhat animated smile before propping up the tablet on the glass tea table. As he taps open the photo album, a short film starts to play. In the film, Luke, dressed in white, appears to be sound asleep on an experiment logbook. There's still a touch of youthful innocence on his face. The wind tousles his hair, and he unconsciously reaches out to touch it while murmuring, This is a version of Luke you've never seen before, from the time when the two of you were apart. It must have been a beautiful dream. You can hear him muttering softly while he's asleep.
보고 싶은데 잘 지내고 있으려나? 너도 날 보고 싶어 할까?
쟤 지금 누구 얘기하는 거야? 미림시에 있다는 그 소꿉친구?
조용히 해. 그러다 깨겠다.
A warmth fills your heart. However, Luke hits the pause button before the film plays to the end.
뭐야? 선배들이 영상은 다 지웠다고 했는데 어떻게?
I guess it's all true what Professor Carlson wrote in that letter. Luke turns his head to the side slightly, somewhat blushing. Professor Carlson, however, responds with a hearty laugh and gives him a pat on the shoulder.
선물을 준비하면서 어떤 선물이 가장 의미가 있을까 고민했어요. 그래서 예전에 혁이랑 같은 과였던 친구랑 선배들한테 혁이의 대학 시절 기록이 없는지 물어봤죠. 이 영상도 혁이 선배 하나가 클라우드에서 겨우 찾아낸 거예요. 두 사람이 오랫동안 떨어져 있었다는 걸 알고 있던 터라 그때의 추억들을 모으면 가장 좋은 선물이 될 것 같더라고요.
After he finishes his sentence, Professor Carlson hands you a flash drive, looking serious. The flash drive is light, but what it contains bears a heavy weight. You just saw him sleeping. What other versions of him would be on this drive? Countless ideas spring to your mind the moment you pick up the flash drive. Thank you, Professor Carlson. I'll be sure to cherish this gift. At the same time, Luke reaches out to take your hand. He's not looking shy anymore, only genuinely moved.
정말 감사해요, 교수님. 그때의 절 볼 수 있게 해주셔서.
You find yourself holding Luke's hand tighter, sharing a smile with him. After all these years, you and that young man in white are finally reunited at this very moment. Bedroom. You and Luke return to your residence after bidding farewell to Professor Carlson. The moment you step inside, the two of you discover that your luggage is a total mess with clothes tossed everywhere around the room. Huh?
이게 다 뭐야?
Before you can work out what happened, Peanut, who's been sitting comfortably on the sofa, chips at you and flaps his wings, flying all around the room. Apparently, Peanut was behind this chaos. He must have gotten angry because we didn't take him out today.
근데 생물 연구기지엔 반려새를 데려갈 수가 없잖아. 일단 땅콩이부터 달래주자.
Sure. As the two of you play with Peanut and spoil him with snacks, he finally comes down from his earlier agitation. Even his suit sounds much happier. But the mess he made is still there for you to clean up. You sigh, preparing to start cleaning.
이게 뭐지?
You hear Luke mumble something before you start. Looking up, you see him flipping through a little picture book. Shoot, Peanut must have dug it out. Hold on, don't look at it. You hurry to stop Luke, but it's already too late. A smile appears on Luke's face as he concentrates on the picture book. Then he walks over to your side and pulls you down to sit with him before opening the book again. Each page contains a sketch documenting the trip.
우리가 같이 초콜릿도 먹고 춤도 추네? 선으로만 그린 건데 너무 귀엽잖아. 나랑 맨날 붙어 있었으면서 이런 건 언제 그렸어?
Luke sounds happy in his soft voice. I suspected he understands this is a surprise I've been preparing for him in secret. You can always make time for things if you put in the effort. I wanted to show it to you after we got back to Sally's after I'd finished all the sketches. We're on the last leg of our journey here, and I was so close to keeping it a secret until we got back. But Peanut... Luke pulls you in for a hug before you can finish your sentence. He nuzzles your neck, his soft hair bringing a tingling sensation.
고마워.
The tight, warm hug seems to last forever. He only lets go after quite some time. Luke grins bright like sunshine.
헛수고가 아니라 운명적인 우연이야.
A nice coincidence.
응? 저번에는 스카디에서 내가 너한테 주려고 준비한 귀걸이를 땅콩이가 꺼내버렸잖아? 근데 이번엔 네가 날 위해서 준비한 스케치북을 꺼냈으니까 운명적인 우연이지.
Hearing him mention the earrings, you can't help but burst into laughter, recalling how Luke scratched his head while blushing. Haha, you're right. But this time, he sure went the extra mile. Not only did he find the picture book, he also managed to mess up our luggage.
괜찮아. 다시 정리하면 되지. 여행이 끝나기 전에 재밌는 에피소드가 생겼다고 치자.
After you have packed everything up again, the sky outside the window is still clear and bright.
저녁 때까지 아직 시간이 많이 남았으니까 나갔다 오자.
Where are we going?
저번에 우리가 고쳤던 정령의 오두막에 인형 장식들을 갖다 놓고 싶어. 요한센 교수님한테 여쭤봤는데 그래도 된대.
Since Professor Carlson invited us to visit Skadi, Luke has been mentioning that cottage all the time. What made you think of adding ornaments to the fairy cottage? Your sudden question catches Luke off guard. He opens his mouth but pauses for a few seconds before answering.
그때 우리가 피크닉하면서 정령한테 감사해야 한다고 했잖아. 그래서 우리를 닮은 인형을 오두막에 갖다 두면 우리 대신 정령을 지켜줄 수 있겠다는 생각이 들었어. 어때? 아이디어 괜찮지?
Although Luke apparently just made that up, you've managed to figure out the real reason despite the fact that he tried to conceal it from you. It's just his way of keeping the two of you here, enjoying a beautiful moment that belongs to you alone without any disturbances from the outside world. Maybe this has been his wish since the beginning of this journey, but he's kept it hidden until now, patiently and gently waiting for your response. Of course, just give me a moment to change. Woods. Returning to this forest from the past is like stepping back in time to yesterday. You and Luke mold the figures with clay before decorating them with braided strings and colorful beads. Look at the puppet I made. I think I've made a lot of progress since that mini bonsai I learned to make last time. You hold up the little Luke and wave it in front of the real Luke. He's still half finished, but one can One can already imagine what the end product looked like.
그야 내가 잘 가르쳐줬으니까 그렇지?
It isn't long before the two of you finish making the puppets amidst merry laughter. Then you place them both in the cottage. The two little puppets lean against each other. You and Luke lock eyes, smiling. In this instant, snow starts to drift from the sky. It's snowing again. As the snowflakes gently fall, a thin white fog emerges amidst the snow-covered trees of the forest. At this moment, the forest of pure white tranquility appears more like a serene island far away from the human world. You glance at the cottage before turning your gaze up toward the sky, overwhelmed by a mix of feelings. I suddenly feel like everything's so small.
응?
Just look at the fairy cottage and the puppets we made. They're so small compared to the two of us. And what about us compared to the whole universe? We'd be even smaller, like little specks of dust. It gives me this feeling as if everything we do is meaningless, nothing but a joke that time itself makes. The thoughts sparked by the snowfall spill from your lips. They may come across as whimsical musings, but yet they authentically capture your sentiments at this instant. Maybe the stillness and purity of snow have a way of guiding people's mind into a surreal and metaphysical realm. But Luke's eyes are full of gentle love. He pulls you down to a squatting position next to him.
나도 가끔 그런 생각을 해. 사람이라는 게 나약하고 보잘것없는 존재구나 하면서 우리가 가진 힘은 우주 만물에 비하면 아무것도 아니라는 생각 말이야. 그러다 보면 우리의 존재나 노력이 다 무슨 의미가 있을까 싶기도 하지만
He claps your hands and grabs a fistful of snow with them, quickly shaping it into a snowman. Following Luke's lead, you place the snowman on his head. Luke looks up at you with a somewhat childlike expression, his eyes shining with untold emotions. You didn't finish what you were saying.
그러니까 내가 하고 싶은 말은 나도 그 기분을 이해한다는 거야. 나도 가끔 그런 공허함을 느낄 때가 있거든. 대신 난 그 안에서 새로운 면을 보곤 해. 어쩌면 인간이라면 누구나 우주에서 작고 보잘것없는 존재라 애초에 아무런 의미가 없었을지도 몰라. 그래도 자기 마음속의 별을 찾으면 그때부턴 공허하지도 않고 존재의 의미를 의심하지도 않게 돼.
You can hear Luke's heartbeat with unusual clarity, despite your thick coats and the distance between the two of you.
그리고 내 마음속의 별은 너야.
Luke. Luke gently pats your hand and continues in a warm voice.
넌 생기 넘치고 진실된 사람이야. 그 진실됨이 쓸쓸한 우주 속에서 내가 기댈 수 있는 닻이 돼준달까? 예를 들면 우리가 저번에 스노우랜드에서 같이 만들었던 눈사람 같은 거야. 겨울의 눈 속에서 만들어진 순간에도 햇볕에 녹아내린 순간에도 둘은 항상 서로 함께였잖아? 그렇게 서로 의지하고 함께하다 보면 공허하고 허무한 마음을 이겨낼 수 있을 거야.
The sound of your heartbeats, the icy feeling of snow, and the warm breath by your ear. At this moment, you and Luke are the embodiment of reality. And in this moment of silence, he is everything. These real sensations, along with Luke's words, turn your previous thoughts and emotions into a dense and heavy warmth. Smiling, you hug him even tighter. You're right, the world may be vast and boundless, but at least we have each other. I think what I was just saying might have been a bit off. It's not really appropriate for this moment. We should be talking about something happy now to give a perfect ending to this trip.
아니야, 난 좋았어. 이런 얘기로 여행을 마무리하는 게 뭐가 어때서? 살다 보면 이런저런 감정을 느끼는 게 당연하지. 어떻게 매번 즐겁고 행복하기만 하겠어. 네가 눈을 보고 그런 생각을 한 것처럼 나도 나름대로 고민이 있어.
Huh? Luke pauses for a second and puts the little snowman aside. Then he turns around, pressing his forehead against yours. He appears somewhat troubled, but there's a glimmer of desire in his eyes.
지금 내 고민은 난 이미 모든 걸 다 가졌고 어느 때보다도 행복한데 왜 계속 욕심이 나냐는 거야.
With his warm breath brushing against your face, it hardly feels like winter anymore. The emotions in Luke's eyes have turned hot and intense.
난 네 영혼을 갖고 싶어.
Forever?
환생이라는 게 있다면 다음 생에도 또 다음 생에도 너랑 함께하고 싶어. 그리고 인생이 한 번뿐이라면 그 끝에서는 우리가 서로 붙어 있는 별이 돼서 영원히 빛났으면 좋겠어.
Maybe it's because this conversation started with talk of the universe, but Luke's wish sounds like an idealistic fantasy. Still, amidst the heavy snow, you find yourself pressing your lips against his. This is your response. It doesn't matter if it's only a fantasy. You want to be with Luke forever, free in your love. Warmth spreads between the two of you. You feel Luke's arm tighten around your waist. Has the snow stopped? No, it's still falling onto every moment shared between you and him.